Dreamscape presents The Last Witness by Denzil Meyrick, narrated by Gerard Reynolds. And if you gaze for long into an abyss, the abyss gazes also into you. Friedrich Nietzsche. Prologue. He lay back on the trolley, as though it was a poolside lounger, cushioned from the motion of the ambulance as it rattled and bumped its way through the Glasgow traffic. He was aware of the young prison officer, manacled to him by a sturdy pair of handcuffs, stealing furtive looks in his direction. The older officer, sitting near the door of the vehicle, was chatting to a pretty nurse, his bluff demeanour at odds with her worried face. The woman's nervous laugh at the lame jokes she was forced to listen to bore witness to the fact that she was well outside her comfort zone. As the journey continued, his young guard offered him a stick of chewing gum, which he refused with an expressionless shake of the head. The older officer stopped what he was saying as the nurse searched in her bag for something, no doubt in order to save herself from further exposure to his coarse humour. Outside the blackened windows of the vehicle, a horn sounded. Then another. There was a screeching of brakes, the sounds of a collision. He was flung against his keeper as the ambulance swerved and came to a sudden stop. There was a scream, and he heard shots being fired. At his feet, the nurse was trying to pick herself off the floor, blood gushing from her nose. The older prison officer was talking hurriedly into a radio as his colleague called out to him in panic, tugging at the rigid handcuffs that bound him tight to his captive. There was a bang, a deep thud almost too low to hear, as the rear doors of the ambulance splintered inwards in a metallic clash of plastic and steel. He saw a shard of metal embed itself in the face of the nurse. She looked bewildered, her whole body shaking, as she lifted a trembling hand to her cheek. Then they appeared, two men squeezing through the ragged hole created by the explosion. Both in black, their faces were masked with balaclavas, and automatic weapons were slung over their shoulders with black webbing straps. He smiled.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?